Okay, so I recently rejoined Reddit. I'm not a huge fan of the space, but I was really riding a high of Ianto doing really well at a really challenging space that we were in for 12 hours. It was an unusual space with a lot of other animals, and I wasn't sure how he'd do, but he did amazing. So I rejoined Reddit. Um, it's been so long, I lost my login credentials. Don't even remember what email I was using to have an account, so I just made an entirely new one. And as always, on service dog spaces, especially ones that have a lot of owner trainers, there's a lot of misconceptions about certification. Most places in the world do not have a legally recognized certification for service dogs. I happen to live in one of the few that do. British Columbia, Canada, and Alberta, Canada have a service dog certification. As far as I know, they look exactly the same. They might not. I have here, printed off in front of me, the certification test. And I don't know if this is true for Alberta, but in BC, it is a voluntary test. All ADI programs in British Columbia do the certification test. Most, I believe, non-ADI. ADI is, of course, Assistant Dog International. It's not a program itself, it is a governing body. So not all programs are ADI programs. As far as I know, non-ADI programs in BC also do certification tests. Owner trainers can, but they don't have to. It is a voluntary $200 every 2-year certification test. Ianto and I haven't done it yet. He's 4.5 years old. He's just come out to see what I'm doing because I'm normally in bed right now. Ianto and I haven't done it. I'd like to, but the $200 cost is prohibitive. So what I did instead was I took the certification test and I studied it. And Ianto has done everything on this test that I think we need him to do. And that's my metric. And yes, I do want to get him certified in the future. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping to do it by the end of the year, but that's going to depend on scheduling. Not my scheduling, their scheduling. So, cover page has just, I'm not sure why this has Obedience Unleashed branding on it, because this is just the government of BC's certification test. Maybe they made it together. I don't fucking know. So the first cover page just has information about the dog, the date, the handler, all that fun stuff. It's just logistics. So that page, and you definitely won't be able to see this on camera, but I started making little notes in yellow highlighter because I was going to do that first. Then I decided I just wanted to read it to you. So there's 40 things that a service dog has to be able to do. It's like 5.5, or I guess cover page, so 4.5 pages, printed sideways. Not sure why my printer did that. Okay, so obedience inside of a vehicle before unloading. The dog waited calmly and remained in the vehicle until the release command was given by handler. So for me, that would be a bus, SkyTrain, which is our local light rail transit, or maybe an Uber. I don't drive. And the testers will test you based on what you actually use as well. So Ianto's fine with that. We don't use a release command when we're on the bus or on the train. It's just when I get up, he gets up and he comes with me and we get off in an orderly fashion. But according to our trainer, that should be absolutely fine. Obedience outside the vehicle after unloading. The dog was on leash, under control, and waited calmly outside the vehicle, attentive to the commands of the handler. Ianto gets off before me when we're on the bus or on the train. He gets off after me if we're in an Uber or a taxi. And so he steps down and moves to the side and waits for me. Normally turns to look at me, but I don't actually care that much if he's staring at me the whole time because that's not his job. Heel position when approaching. So the third one, Heel position when approaching the building or through the parking lot. The dog must remain in a heel position, not pull on the leash, and not try to run ahead or lag behind. He might struggle with this one, but not for the reason you think. I've never bothered to put his urinating on a cue, because it seems silly to me that he can only pee when I tell him to pee. He doesn't pee inside, he doesn't pee on people's rose bushes, but if we're walking through a parking lot and there's a bit of bush, then he might go and pee on it. He's not going to pull away from me, but he won't be in heel position. He'll be within his 4-foot radius of me peeing on a bush. And again, I don't fucking care. He's not going to pee in the building. Calmness around traffic. The dog demonstrates calm, relaxed behavior. No fearful attitude around traffic, noise, and distractions while navigating through the parking lot and approaching the building. Not worried. He handles noise much better than I do. It's one of the things that he's with me for. 5, obedient stop before entering doorway. When the handler comes to a halt, the dog is stopped and waiting calmly. Again, very simple. He waits with me. I open the door. He goes in. I go in. And that way, I can keep him from getting smacked by the door. That's just the way it works for us. It's not the same for every team. Obedience going through doorway. Dog enters the building through the door in a safe, calm manner. Same as the last one, as far as I'm concerned. Obedience after entering the doorway. This one's the same as obedience outside the vehicle. The dog waited after entering the building, attentive to the handler until able to resume the heel position. Again, because of the way that we go through, by the time I'm through the door, he's back in heel position. Number 9, heeling inside the building. 1 foot of handler or indicated distance. The team should be able to manage slippery floors, stairs, escalators, and or elevators depending on the location chosen. My boy does not do escalators. It's not something we had the ability to expose him to when he was a puppy. So the first time he saw an escalator, he was probably 2, which is well outside of the easy socialization window. He finds them very scary, they're noisy, they move, it's weird. He's the same about the flat, sort of moving sidewalks in airports. I'm never going to force that. I will take the stairs 20 times before I try and get him on the escalator. Every now and again, I try to get him close to show him that it's not that scary, but that's not with the goal to have him on the escalator, because escalators are really dangerous when you've got bare feet and fur. Elevators, not worried. Stairs, whatever. Oh, stairs, there might be a slight issue there. I normally send him up ahead of me. Not too far ahead, like if there's 20 steps in a landing, I will be 3 steps behind him by the time we get to the landing. But I'm not sure how well the evaluator will like that one. So we might work on that. Might not. I don't care. Okay, so that was 9, heeling inside the building. 10, no soliciting public attention. The dog remained focused on handler and ignored other people. Again, he's got that down. Unless my dad showed up randomly, who's probably his favorite person, he is not going to be soliciting attention from anyone else. And my dad lives in a different province, so not a worry for me. Adjusting to speed changes. The dog was able to adjust to changes in the handler's speed, did not pull on leash unless required to do so for mobility issues. Also very easy. Ianto and I have a couple of noise-based cues to, if I think he's getting too far ahead of me or too far behind, but I don't need him very much. But, you know, it's a sort of holdover from puppyhood. 12, adjusting to changes in direction. The dog adjusted readily to changes in direction or turning corners. No coaxing or dragging needed by handler. So again, I've got a cue. It's Neum, because I didn't mean to put it on cue, but I did when he was a puppy. So if I'm changing directions unexpectedly, I go Neum and he comes with me. No pulling, no dragging. I'm not sure if that counts as coaxing. I don't think it will, as it's just sort of a, oh, pay attention right now, as opposed to a, come here, boy, come here. But, you know, some of this does come down to the person who actually does the evaluating. The guy who does it in my area is a guy named Richard, and my trainer knows him pretty well, so I'm sure I can get a primer from her. Obedience through narrow or tight areas. The dog has the ability to negotiate calmly through the tight quarters without disturbing or trying to play with merchandise on shelves. Not worried. No, I was thinking maybe if we were in a toy shop or something like that. But even there, doesn't have enough interest in toys to give them more than a passing glance. So, not worried. Obedience through crowd. Dog has the ability to maneuver calmly through a crowd of people without trying to interact with people. Not worried. He's got very few humans that he actively wants to engage with. When people come up, when he's not working and ask to say hi, and I say yes, I have to encourage him to go say hi. And then he might give a sniff and then turn back to me. Like, he's not interested in crowds. 6-foot recall on leash. In a large open area, the handler has the dog sit, then left it, moved 6 feet away, then turned and called the dog. The dog responded right away to the recall command and did not try to ignore the command or respond hesitantly or slowly. Again, not really worried except for the slowly. It depends on what they determine slowly is. Like, Ianto's never going to jump up and run to me. That's not his personality. But he's going to get up and come to me. It's going to be 2 seconds where another dog might be 1 second, sort of a thing, you know? 6-foot recall on leash direction. The dog came directly to the handler and did not try to take any detours along the way. Not worried. He's got that one down. They used to have a longer command, like a 15-foot or something like that, but I guess they changed it because service dogs, unless tasks require it, are supposed to be leashed. So, and most leashes are 6 foot in length. Sit command. The dog responded to the sit command with no greater than 2 asks by the handler. Ianto's sit command is not the word sit, but yeah, that's well within his abilities. Sit command next to a plate of food. The dog did not attempt to eat or sniff the food. The dog held a sit-stay position and ignored the food. The dog did not require repeated corrections. Note, the handler may correct the dog verbally or physically away from the food. The dog should not be taunted or teased with the food. This is one that Ianto and I actually do have to work on. And it's about figuring out what he finds the most reinforcing and what the food will be. If it's a plate of... Okay, what's his favorite food at the moment? Chicken strips. If it's a plate of chicken strips, he's going to struggle more than if it's a bowl of Cheerios. So I need to work on proofing that and figure out exactly what works the best for us as a team. But also, that situation doesn't come up very much in real life, so it's not one that we've had to worry about. But as I said, this test is voluntary, but I do want to take it. So I'm going to work on that. Sit command while shopping carts pass. Dog remained sitting and was relaxed when the shopping cart passed by and did not show signs of fear, moving away, or anxiety. Note, the shopping cart should be pushed in a normal manner. We don't use shopping carts a lot, Ianto and me. We tend to use arm baskets just because there's just 2 dogs and 2 humans in this house, and we tend to go on more small shops. So maybe next time we go grocery shopping, or the next couple of times we go grocery shopping, I'll get my partner to actually grab a shopping cart and we'll do some intentional training. All of that said, I don't foresee this being an issue. He's been in many grocery stores with many, come on, Yum, up. Come on, monkey. We've been in many grocery stores together with many shopping carts. And when he was younger, I did do specific shopping cart training. Hey, baby. He's just come to join me. Got his butt to me. That's his thing. So I'm not worried about 21 shopping carts. I just do want to do a bit of a brush up, make sure that there's not something there that's shown up in the last 1.5 years since we've been regularly out using shopping carts for training purposes. 22, sit on command while being petted by a stranger. The dog remained in the sit position while a stranger walked up, talked to the handler, then petted the dog. The dog did not break the sit position, show aggression, or solicit attention from the stranger. Because Ianto is not a very human social dog, the only thing I can think of is he might turn away. And I don't know if that would be a mark off. But again, most service dogs aren't being pet by strangers when we're out working with them. Ianto, as an autism service dog and not as a medical alert dog, I do allow to say hi to some people when he's dressed. But when I do, it's when I have the chance to tell the person that that is an unusual thing to have happen. It's when I'm not needing him to task presently, and when I personally have the ability to actually maintain his concentration. So it doesn't happen a lot. And it doesn't say, like, pulling away is not aggression and is not soliciting attention. It might be seen as being uncomfortable, which would be an accurate read of Ianto's opinion of what's going on. It is an uncomfortable thing to have happen. So again, something to work on. Maybe do that in a dog park or something like that, where I can then release him to go play, which is one of his favorite things to do. 23, down command. The dog responds to the down command with no greater than 2 asks. Like with sit, my command for down is not down. And it's his least favorite behavior. He does it. And he'll do it in 2 if I've got everything right. And I believe I can have my treat pouch for this test, but I'm not sure. And that's also another sticking point for me with this test. I take my treat pouch everywhere. It's his payment for doing his job. It's also often his breakfast. Well, no, not his breakfast. More often his lunch. And so if I'm not allowed to use his treat pouch, even if I would understand not being allowed to use high value treats, like if I can just use kibble. But that is our behavior, right? That's how we work together. I ask him to do something, he does the thing, I give him a treat. I thank him. It's me thanking him. Anyways, down command. The down command ones, they're going to be slightly more challenging for us because he doesn't like the down cue. Down command while child approaches. Oh, sorry, skipped one. 24, down command with food dropped on floor. Dog remains in a down position and under the control when food was dropped onto the floor. Did not try to get the food, did not need repeated corrections from the handler. This is going to come down to the proofing, same with the other food one. Working with him on that. If I stay awake late enough tonight, I'm actually going to try and do some of that tonight with him, if he's awake for it too, which is another important aspect of it. But yes, getting him proofed around leaving food alone is going to be one of our hurdles before I can take this test. Down command while child approaches. The dog remained in a down position and calm in a calm manner when an adult and child approach and pet the dog. The dog did not solicit attention or need repeated corrections from the handler. Note, the child should not taunt the dog or act dramatically. Not worried. Ianto likes kids well enough. He actually likes them a bit more than adults. But again, he's not the type of dog that solicits that sort of attention when we're out and about. Noise distraction. Drop object on floor behind dog. The dog remained in a composed manner during noise distractions. It is acceptable that the dog turns or shows a quick startle reaction to the noise. It is not acceptable for the dog to exhibit fear, aggression, or continued negative behavior due to the noise. Not worried. Like I said before, Ianto's better around loud noises than I am. If I can manage to get another task trained before, it's unlikely, but if I can get another task trained before we take this test, he might actually respond in a task manner to this particular one, but I don't know about that yet, and he might not take to that particular task. We will see. Behavior in 27, behavior in restaurant. The dog was not a nuisance and was quiet in the restaurant. The dog stayed out of people's way. If applicable, the dog should remain in a downstay position under the table, close to the handler. Not worried. The only thing I'm worried about there is that we have a bit of a hands-on cue for that. Like, I will bodily, not push, but nudge him to be in the position I want him to be in that sort of situation, whether I want him to be next to me or under the table. It's the same with on buses. If I want him sitting next to me or between my legs on a bus, I indicate that with my hands physically. And I don't know if that would be seen as coercion or something like that. But that is the cue that works for me, as I'm not always fully verbal. Off-leash exercise. The handler dropped the leash. The dog should be aware that the leash had been dropped. The dog remained under control while the leash was dropped, and the handler was able to pick up the leash and get the dog back into proper position. Not worried. It doesn't say the dog has to pick up the leash. I've never requested Ianto to do that before. I just go to his collar, grab it real loose here, and just go like that, so that it runs through my hand like this computer wire, and then it's back where it needs to be, and he's good to go. Oh, someone has been chewing on my computer cord, apparently. Chihuahuas. Anyways. Off-leash exercise, right. Human aggression tests. The validator passively took the dog's leash without giving any commands and moved 20 feet away from the handler and stayed there for 1 minute. The dog did not display any aggression, stress, or whining. Some days I'm not even sure Ianto would notice that. No, he'd be fine. He might look around to see where I am, and he might gently resist being taken away, but he will walk away. Excuse me. 31. Obedience before exiting a doorway. When approaching the exit door, the dog remained in a relaxed, heeled position, just the same as the entry stuff, just in reverse. Obedience going through the door while exiting the building, same protocol. Ianto goes first, I go second. Obedience after exiting the building, Ianto then is directly back into heel position. Calm around traffic after exiting the building, same as before. Obedience stop after exiting building. Oh, okay, so this is just a stop and wait thing. Yeah, so same stuff. When handler came to a halt, the dog stopped and waited calmly. Same as the inside one, just making sure you can do it outside as well. Dog aggression test. In the parking lot, a non-aggressive dog or puppy approaches with a person to 6 feet away, and the person has a short conversation with the handler. The assistance dog remained calm and under control of the handler, not displaying aggression towards the other dog, vocalization, or wanting to play with the other dog. The team will be evaluated on how they handle the situation. This one might be a bit hard for Ianto, because while he's not human social, he's incredibly dog social. So for that one, I'm going to do some practice with other handlers, some mall visits, that sort of a thing. However, the whole reason I rejoined Reddit in the first place, that event that we went to for 12 hours that he did so amazing at, there were 7 service dogs there that I saw, including Ianto. 2 of them I'm pretty sure were program dogs. The other ones were off-breeds. Well, one of the other ones was a poodle, but was quite young and not wearing a traditional training harness that you see program dogs wear. So I don't think the poodle was a program dog either. And Ianto did better than 2 of them. We passed real close to a couple of them, not 6 feet away, but close enough. We didn't have conversations with them, but Ianto saw them, acknowledged them, and moved on. While we were there, we also saw a dog show. Ianto watched for about 30 seconds, huffed, and fell asleep on my foot. Well, that particular one, 36, he's not dog aggressive, but he's incredibly playful and incredibly dog social. So I'm going to be practicing that one. 37, public transit test. The dog and handler team successfully boarded and exited a city bus or train. The dog remained calm, unobtrusive, and relaxed, not soliciting public attention, not showing fear or shyness. Fine. The only public transit around here that Ianto's a little bit hesitant about is the C bus. But that is about 2 hours away on transit from where we live, so it won't be part of our test, and it's not part of his daily life. He just doesn't like taking that last step from the solid land onto the bus, onto the C bus. Once he's on the C bus, he's fine. And once he's off the C bus, he's fine. It's just that one step. Okay. Obedient load on into vehicle. Dog waited patiently until commanded to load into the vehicle and waited calmly inside the vehicle. We actually have 2 ways of loading into vehicles. Ianto doesn't ride in a crate unless he's visiting one of our friends, because I don't drive, so I don't have a car crate. So if we're in a cab or an Uber and they're okay with him being on the seat, he goes in first and sits behind the driver, and then I get in second and sit in the back passenger seat. If they're not okay with him being on the seat, I go in first and sit in the back passenger seat and cue him up between my legs in the footwell. He can also sit in the front seat in the footwell, but I don't personally like that because of the airbags. For long trips, he has a couple of buckles that can be buckled in from his harness to the seatbelt, and they're not as good as a crate would be. But until I get my driver's license and a car, or my partner gets a driver's license and a car, that's what we do. Okay. Evident team relationship and knowledge of access tests. The handler was in control and praised the dog when the dog did well. Handler coped calmly and with an access problem when questioned about their right to bring the dog into an establishment. Yeah, that one's easy. And then 40, care and well-being of the dog. The dog was clean and groomed, nails and fur, with no offensive odor. The dog was friendly and relaxed. The handler's response to random questions about care of the dog during the test indicated the handler's understanding and is responsive to the dog's needs. The offensive odor might get us, because Ianto farts. He's a very stinky boy. Silent but deadly. No, sorry, that is something I referenced earlier in a different video. Ianto has a sensitive stomach, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about, does your dog smell like skunk? Which he doesn't. I have been Ianto's primary carer since he was 4 months old, and I'm still his primary carer, and although my partner and I have quiet disagreements about it, Ianto is my dog and will always be only my dog. I love my partner, and Klaus, the Chihuahua, is very much his dog these days, but Ianto is mine. I can tell you anything you want about his care and handling, from the ingredients in the dog soup that we feed him to the contents of his treat pouch and the treat box that we have at home. It's actually just over there right now. I can tell you not his vet's names, but every vet clinic he has ever been to. I can give you the rough date for his neuter and his vaccines and his dental, which are the major procedures that he's had done. Oh, and I can tell you that during his neuter, he got his hind dew claws removed, which were vestigial. I know his parents' names and his siblings' names, and I'm still in contact with his breeder and his siblings on Facebook. They're all in the States except for me. Ianto's from Georgia. I can tell you what his name means and what his litter name was. They're both John. Well, actually, I think technically they're both Johnny, because Ian is John and Ianto is Ian too. So I have a suspicion that a better translation of Ianto would be Johnny, and his litter name was Johnny as well. Pure coincidence. Picked his name before I knew which of the puppies were going to be mine. Picked his name when I was in high school, technically. I could take the person through the different brushes that we've tried on Ianto's coat. the different methods that we've used to keep his nails trimmed. The fact that last week we went on a hike in Ontario, and he ended up with a couple of ticks on his fur that we caught before they burrowed in, and he immediately went for a bath, which he did not enjoy, but he tolerated for me. And I could tell you, what else could I tell you? I could tell you a lot. I could tell you about all of the puzzle toys that he has had in his life, of which there have been many. He only has 3 at the moment because he's an older dog now, and he still needs mental stimulation. I don't want to say he doesn't need mental stimulation, but what he gets out of it is different now that he's an adult. So I think I've got 40 pretty well in hand. So to tally it up, I've got potential issue with heel position when we're outside with peeing, because I've never put peeing on a cue. I don't see the point. Down command with drop food, and sit command with drop food. Dog aggression test. So on a 40 question test, question's not the right word, I think Ianto might struggle with one of them in a way I do not care to correct or train through, because again, I don't think it's a behavior that needs correcting. Struggle with 2 that I think need a touch-up that I can do on my own, and struggle with 1 that I'm going to need worked on with another service dog handler. I'm not signing up to do the test tomorrow, but it's not a hard test. This is designed to make sure that the dog can behave in public. It's not designed to ensure that the dog is the perfect tool to mitigate a disability. It's not designed to ensure that the dog is never going to have a bad day. This is a test. It's pass-fail. Everything is pass-fail, and then there's a section for comments. So, like, for example, if I was doing the test and I failed on the heel position while approaching the building, the comment might be, dog peed on a bush, or something like that. Or if I guess right, and when someone comes up to pet Ianto when he's sitting down and he goes like this, I might pass, but the note might be dog pulled away. Not enough to fail, but enough to note. Sorry, I didn't mean to shake the camera there. But I think I really need to hammer home that this certification is voluntary. It says so right on the website. Let's see if I can pull that up real quick for you. Nope, that's not the right page. I'm just going to read it off when I've signed it. Okay, found it. Okay, so I'm not going to read it all, SparksNote version, but guide and service dogs assist individuals with disabilities by helping them avoid hazards or performing tasks. Guide dogs specifically support people with visual impairments, while service dogs assist those with other disabilities such as hearing impairments and epilepsy. These highly trained dogs can help a person navigate public areas. This is directly from the Government of BC's website. Can help a person navigate through public areas, alert them to sounds, open doors, and do other tasks to support their handlers. In British Columbia, the Guide Dogs and Service Dog Act, called the Act, and its regulations govern how guide dogs and service dogs and their handlers are certified. Certification increases public safety, raises training standards, and improves public access and tenancy protections for certified service dogs and handler teams. There are 2 ways to be certified: receive a trained dog from an accredited school, or apply as a team not trained by an accredited school and pass the public access safety test with your dog. Training and testing are designed to ensure that only dogs who behave safely or in a variety of environments are certified, blah, blah, blah. See guide dogs and service dog certification and trainer and retired dog certification for more information. This is the very important paragraph that most people do not bother to read to. It's the 5th paragraph on the page. In BC, certification under the Act is voluntary. People with disabilities who rely on a guide or service dog who choose not to certify them under the Act may be protected from discrimination under the BC Human Rights Code. Now, what that means is the Service Dog Act, the Guide and Service Dog Act, has certification. If you want to be protected under the Act, you have to be certified. But the BC Human Rights Code provides guidance for non-certified teams. It's not the same protection, but it is protection, which means that Ianto here, as a fully trained service dog with tasks to mitigate my autism, can come with me to places that pet dogs can't come. This is something I'm still working on myself. I have the right to request he come with me to work and the right to bring my employer to a court if they deny it. I have the right to bring him with me on public transit, not private transit, but public transit, including buses, sky trains, sea taxis, airplanes, blah, blah, blah. I have that right because he has been trained to be an assistance to my autism. Part of the reason I have hesitated to get certified is because I wasn't sure how we'd do on the test. So I treated this 12-hour festival as a bit of a test for me. And he blew me away. So my imposter syndrome has taken a bit of a backseat. And now I feel comfortable pursuing this. I honestly think I could probably pass the service dog test tomorrow, except for that one about greeting another dog, because he's so dog social. But I'm going to take some time, do some retraining, help him brush up on the skills that I haven't focused on as much. Things like leave it, because we're not in a space where there's going to be a burger on the floor in front of him when I can't tell him no. I don't go to places like that because of the autism. So anyways, that is the BC, and I'm fairly certain it's the same in Alberta, certification test in its entirety. That's it. I mean, no, we also have to submit a couple of forms, but the test itself is that piece of paper that I read off to you. It's not that hard. So this is going to be me and Ianto signing off. Thank you for sticking around. If you have, very new to this whole YouTube thing, so like and subscribe. And I'll keep you updated on Ianto's daily life, the sort of things that we spend our time doing. I'll try and record some training videos. Not very good at that as a one phone camera kind of a person. But I will do my best to get good videos of Ianto brushing up on his leave it skills. Not that we're going to be using that word as a cue. And if you're lucky, you'll see some videos of little Klaus too. I'll see you around.